It's Thursday, May 31st, and this is your Barbados Today News Update. So glad you can join us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. A woeful state of affairs and a dereliction of duty. That's how Prime Minister Mottley is describing the country's financial situation. Speaking at her first post-cabinet meeting since taking office, the Prime Minister painted a grim picture of the management of the public purse under the previous Democratic Labour Party administration. Ms. Mottley told reporters that her government has been crunching the numbers over the past few days, and what they have found was even worse than they expected.
As of the 30th of September last year, outstanding wire transfers as per the Accountant General's records were 621.4 million. University of the West Indies, as per the last audit confirmation, was owed 229.7 million, and state-owned enterprises 467.7 million, bringing it to a total of 1.315 billion. And when we add to that approximately $345 million owed by the Barbados Revenue Authority, you see that we are on or about approximately 1.7 billion. The bottom line is that of those amounts, there are large and huge amounts owed by the statutory corporations as of the 30th of September. It is a woeful state of affairs, and really and truly, anybody who presided over this really needs to answer to the country for what, in my view, is a dereliction of duty that is unparalleled since independence.
She also revealed that there were a number of deals signed after Parliament was dissolved, which was clearly intended to bind the hands of an incoming government.
If ever there was an occasion of a government picking the duck back bare, this was such an occasion. And the consequences, as we are now seeing, are devastating to the Barbados economy and to Barbados's economic stability. Nothing, however, will be allowed to daunt us. To give you an idea of some of the contracts that we're speaking about, in the course of the last few days, on the 18th of May, literally 6 days before the government of Barbados faced an election, a contract and a letter was signed with a company called Global Ports Holding PLC that would see them receiving a 30-year concession to operate the Barbados Cruise Pier for the paltry sum of $34 million US.
In other news this Tuesday, chaos erupted in the river bus terminal this morning as officers from the Barbados Licensing Authority conducted a surprise inspection. Public service vehicle workers told Barbados Today the officers prohibited some route taxi drivers from working because they did not have a conductor's license and badge. One worker told Barbados Today the officers were not being fair.
They want the drivers, they got conductor badges when they got conductor to them, and it's like conductor got conductor badges and then offload all the ones saying that the drivers don't want the conductor badges because it's super nice. You know what I mean? But one man drive a bus.
Chairman of the Alliance of Owners of Public Transport, Roy Raphael, told Barbados Today that the issue of drivers acquiring conductor licenses was raised with the former Minister of Transport and Works, Michael Lashley. However, there was no agreement. Efforts to reach Acting Chief Licensing Officer Virgil Knight were unsuccessful. Cyberbullying and sexual activity among minors are major concerns for officials at the Child Care Board. At a media sensitization workshop at the Accra Beach Hotel, which zeroed in on ethical guidelines for reporting on children, Senior Child Care Officer Melvina Waif disclosed that more and more children were falling prey to cyberbullying, which was having a negative impact on them. She also raised concern that too many young children at primary school were engaging in harmful sexual practices.
In recent years, as was mentioned earlier, with the advent of cyberspace, we have seen the development of cyber abuse and cyberbullying incidences resulting in children becoming depressed, isolated with threats of self-harm, including suicide, among other variables. The issue of minor and minor inappropriate sexual misconduct is also of some concern to the board, especially at the primary school level. And it has been noted that much of these behaviors stem from poor examples from their immediate families, or other sexual behaviors which in turn may be exposed to in the community, including the various forms of media.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional developments now, the 48th Annual General Meeting of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank wrapped up in Grenada today, with CDB President Dr. Warren Smith appealing to countries to focus on tackling domestic issues they can remedy. Speaking at the closing press conference, Dr. Smith said there are challenges including negative fallout from U.S. sanctions on trade and Britain's exit from the European Union. He, however, stressed that countries should first seek to handle their own affairs.
We need to manage our debt so that we don't get into the situation where many of our countries are today and have been for some time, where our debt to GDP ratio is at levels that have a negative impact on growth. So that those are some of the things, in my view, that we have control over. What we need to also do is to do some of the things that we've been talking about this week in terms of resilience, building resilience against natural hazards, so that when those inevitably happen, we're not caught in a position where we have to go and borrow a lot of money in order to be able to respond.
Further afield, U.S. President Donald Trump is imposing steep tariffs on steel and aluminum from three of America's biggest trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and the European Union. The trade penalties, 25% on imported steel and 10% on imported aluminum, take effect at midnight. We get more in this CNN report.
There will be 25% tariffs on steel, imported steel from those places into the United States, and 10% on aluminum. Still some negotiations going on with some other countries as well. The EU has vowed to retaliate. It has said that it is not fair, that it is casting itself as sort of the free trade beacon of the world, while the United States is America first protectionist. That's going to be bad for everyone, they say. You can expect retaliation on maybe Kentucky bourbon, maybe on motorcycles from Wisconsin, and some strategic things there.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, or you can also tune in to Mix 96.9 FM for the very latest. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.